Today we will be demonstrating a distal occlusal amalgam filling on number 18. Before you begin, make sure you have everything you need, including all of your necessary materials and your instruments. Depending on the characteristics of the prep, you may need some additional materials, as you can see here on the flowchart. You will begin by placing your Tafelmayer matrix band. The band should extend about 1 millimeter below the gingival margin to ensure a proper seal. It should also extend beyond the marginal ridge to allow room to build up the ridge against the band. Now place your wedge. Choose the correct size to hold the band firmly to the tooth. If it's too large, it'll make a wedge mark in the filling. Be careful not to leave your matrix band on for too long. This will create tight contacts. Now burnish your matrix band at the contact areas. Be careful not to over-burnish, or else that'll make the interproximal contact wall too wide. Release the matrix band by about a quarter turn counterclockwise. Now you are ready to start placing the filling. You'll need to start by triturating the amalgam. For our clinic, the amalgam needs to be set to 9 seconds on rabbit speed. This is a good opportunity to do a little wiggle yourself. When you place the amalgam into the amalgam well, the ball should appear shiny, wet, and well compacted. Remove the clear plastic separator. Start by loading the small end of the amalgam carrier with your finger under the lever. Fill the very bottom of the proximal box first, filling to the height of the gingival floor. Press firmly to condense. You should hear a crunching, squeaking noise. Mercury-rich layers should start to rise and crumble out of the restoration. Brush off as needed. Use instruments according to prep size. Start with the smaller condenser and work up to the larger condenser. Condense in overlapping strokes. Start with lateral pressure and then vertical pressure. Continue filling the prep with overlapping layers, starting by building up the marginal ridge. Overfill the restoration slightly to allow yourself some wiggle room while carving and to ensure that the margins are properly sealed. Clear the band of any excess amalgam using your IPC or your Explorer. When clearing the band with amalgam, you will want to start from the outside, moving towards the center. Remove the Tafelmayer while keeping the matrix band around the tooth. Remove the wedge using the cotton pliers, then remove the band while gently stabilizing the marginal ridge with the large condenser. Keep the marginal ridges intact while removing excess amalgam from the interproximal contact areas using your IPC, Explorer, or Hollenbach. We prefer to use the IPC. You are now ready to begin carving the anatomy. It may be helpful to have a reference nearby. Using your Hollenbach or discoid cleoid as demonstrated here, begin by establishing the central groove. Lay the instrument lightly on the side of the cusps and let the point of the instrument lay over the central groove. When establishing grooves and conserving the ridges, we like to think of this as a push-pull method. Start with heavy pressure in the grooves and work up to light pressure as you move towards the ridges. Do not carve past the marginal ridge. Use the adjacent tooth or the same tooth, molar to molar, to make sure that the marginal ridges are the same height. Make sure all anatomy is present and that there is no flash or submarginal defects. Occasionally you can use some air or the high vac suction to remove any excess amalgam that's being carved away. You can also use a 2x2 with some alcohol. For grading, we start with the groove location and development. It seems that our major grooves, the central, buccal, and lingual, are correctly located and carved to a proper depth. For this category, we would give ourselves a 4. For the ridge location and development, there might be a slight variation and it might be slightly over-carved. For this category, we'd give ourselves a 3. Moving on to the marginal ridge, the height looks like it matches that of the neighboring tooth. For the contour, it looks like it's not too rounded and not too flat, with the contact in the correct location. For this category, we'd give ourselves a 4. The contact area is correctly located, as checked with the floss. The floss also passes through with proper resistance, with a good snap. For this category, we also give ourselves 4 points. The proximal contour and gingival embrasures are properly restored, giving us 4 points in this category as well. The occlusal embrasures are also properly contoured, giving us 4 points in this category. Exploring the cavo surface margins indicated a few submarginal defects. We would call this slight variation of the margins and give us 3 points for this category. This possibly resulted from using our discoid to clear the margins. Using the discoid to move from the restoration to the enamel, we probably dug out some submarginal defects. This can also happen when you're using the cleoid side to make your grooves. Sometimes the curved part of the cleoid will get stuck under the margin and create marginal defects. Checking the interproximal margins, there was only one area that was submarginal. This was just slight, giving us 3 points in this category. This may have resulted from a slight gap in the matrix band. This is why it's important to take your time when placing your matrix band, ensuring that there are no gaps. For hard and soft tissue, you can see an example of some soft tissue damage on this typodont from a previous filling. Here we don't have any hard or soft tissue damage from this filling that we did today, and we don't see that we took any enamel down off the typodont. So for this category, we get 4 points. In total, that gives us 33 out of 36 points. Not bad. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
I can't do